Hey guys, time for another bird video. It's a beautiful day today on the farm here, so thought I'd do some filming. If you've seen the last couple of videos where we talked about Maple and Pie, and we showed them up close, today we're going to talk about Cherry, the injured crow that was rescued several years ago. So let's get in there and show Cherry up close. So there's Cherry over there on the left. I thought I'd just show you all our rescued birds here. We have 5 of them. There's 4 there, and there's 1 there. That's Peach. We'll show him up close in another video coming up. So anyways, let's talk about Cherry. So if you're new to the channel, this is Cherry. And the story with Cherry is he was rescued in 2017, but not by us. Somebody found a couple crows in their backyard and they weren't flying, so they realized they were injured. They must have injured their wings or something. So after a little while they realized that they couldn't deal with the bird and it wasn't getting better. They took him to a wildlife rescue in Saskatoon. And not long after that, the director called us, since she knew about the first bird that we had, Peach. We'll talk about Peach in another video, but she knew all about him because we were trying to release Peach at one time and it just didn't work out. So she said, would you like a friend for Peach? So we went down there and we saw Cherry there and we thought, sure, why not? We'll bring him. So after we brought him home, we didn't know he was a boy yet. And we didn't know his full how his health was at that point either, but we saw his wing was damaged pretty bad and we thought we better take him to the vet. So we took him to the vet college in Saskatoon at the university, and they examined him and they said that his wing was broken in several places, and you know, he was likely in pain too. So they discussed some options and said, what would you like to do? Like, they said, we have determined that if we do a surgery on him, it's going to be damage control. They're not going to be able to make him so he can fly again. And they said if they could make him fly again, at that point he should be released, and they would cover the costs of that. But since he would not be able to fly, they said if we keep him and you just leave him here, we're going to have to euthanize him. You know, we're sorry, but it's just the way it is. Unless, if you want to pay for it, we can do a surgery and clean it up and put a pin in there or something, and you know, whatever we got to do, and then you can take him home. So we did a GoFundMe and a bunch of people helped from YouTube. Thank you, you know, to those people. And it was several $1,000s it cost, like with follow-up visits and everything. You know, it's not cheap going to vets, especially with a surgery with an animal like this. And they had a special surgeon that was involved in the surgery that deals in exotic birds. And some would say that's not an exotic bird, like he's some think that these birds are scavenger and junk birds and, you know, nuisances, pests. But still, it's an exotic bird to a veterinarian, and not all vets can do things like this. This was a special person that's handled birds like this before, and they were willing to do it, but you know, it costs a lot of money. But anyways, that was all covered, and Cherry was able to come home, and you know, there was a lot of, we were worried after and stuff because he had a pin in, he pulled the pin out. I can put a video below to watch that video. We'll talk more about that and show when we had him, when we first brought him home and stuff. But you know, there's some tense moments after that. But after that, we had a DNA test done, like with all our birds we have, because we want to know if it's a boy or a girl, and I thought for sure Cherry was a female. I was almost ready to bet on it. You know, a lot of people had their guesses and they thought male or female. You know, everyone had their guesses, but I thought for sure Cherry was a female. And it turned out that Cherry's a boy. And we liked the name Cherry. Some people said in the past, why did you name him Cherry? Isn't that a female name? You know, you're talking about a bird here though, right? This is not some kid going to school that's going to get teased or you know, kids are cruel in school and stuff, and you call, you know, a boy a Cherry, you know, and maybe some are gonna tease him and everything. You know, that's the way the world is. But it's a nice name. Cherry's a nice name, so we thought we'd stick with it. Why not? What does it matter? And today, Cherry is Cherry, and so many of you watching, you love Cherry, and you ask questions, and you give hearts and well wishes for him, and some of you have a soft spot for him. Like, I definitely have a soft spot for him. And since when he was rescued, we think he was probably born in 2015, we think. But he was rescued in 2017. He could have been born in 2016, because he would have been born in Canada around, you know, end of May or June, somewhere in there. So he could have been over a year old already, or he could have been 2 years old. We're not quite sure of that. He's either 9 or 10 right now, because it's 2025. So he's either 9 or 10. But we love him to bits, and would do anything for him. And since he was rescued with that injured wing, the broken wing, he wasn't an imprinted bird. He wasn't imprinted on humans. He was a full wild bird, and when he injured himself, I'm sure he was terrified and scared and everything, and what's he going to do, right? Because a bird has to fly. Like, they have to get away, and they got to find their food by flying around. And you know, who knows what a bird is thinking, but he must have been depressed. You know, he must have known that he can't fly and get, like, soar in the sky, and who knows how far he traveled, and he probably migrated to the States. But he likely was born in Canada. It's usually the way it works. And some birds, they don't leave their countries or their zones. Some of them stay. But Cherry would have been a migrating bird, because he was rescued in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and crows don't hang around there, just ravens and stuff. So imagine how he felt. But since he's not imprinted, he still isn't today. He's used to us. He knows where his food's coming from. He's got his shelter and everything. But he's still skeptical. If I go too close to him, he'll get scared. And since he can't fly, I'm not going to go tease him and go up close, and he'll fall off. He falls off and off on his own, but he gets right back up. He's very proud, and he has no problem. Like, he can spring like a... If he was playing basketball, he'd hit that net every time. He can really spring from the ground straight up. His vertical jump is incredible, those strong legs of his. So when he goes down, he goes right back up. But I don't want to be the cause of him falling, so I keep my distance. We've noticed in the last, you know, a little while now, maybe it's been a couple of years, that our other crow, Peach, that there was two of them in the beginning. Like, Cherry was introduced to Peach, and they were buddies, best buddies. And Peach has been bringing him food and everything, but, you know, sometimes we think maybe he's the boss, Cherry, right? Maybe he's ordering him around to bring him stuff. I don't know. We don't know who really is more dominant. Because sometimes all the birds show dominance, like the crows. Sometimes Maple gets away with a whole bunch of things, and then other times Peach won't let her eat, and if he goes to the bowl there and shoos her away, there's no problem. And sometimes even Cherry and Peach shoo Maple away, you know. Some people have asked, like, if you've seen the video with Maple, the female crow, is Cherry or Peach interested in Maple? Like, it doesn't seem like it. It's like, sometimes they're really bossy with her, and you think, well, why are you treating her so mean, you know? Like, they're not hurting her or nothing, but shooing her away from the bowl, or if Peach and Cherry seem to have a conversation going. They don't want Maple butting in, and then other times they're hanging out all together. So it's hard to say. People have asked, who do you think is the most dominant bird, you know? I could say Peach is, I could say Maple is, and I could say Cherry is. And sometimes even the magpies get really cheeky and bossy, and they start talking. They can talk. They start teasing and everything, and then the other birds just take off, right? So it's hard to say, but they all get along in an enclosure like this. It's big enough for nobody is in anybody's space, and they don't mind. We're in nice and close now. You can see on the left there, the wing is kind of drooping funny. That's the broken, repaired wing. And sometimes it looks like it's really hanging down, but it's because of the feathers, and they have to be trimmed sometimes, because otherwise it gets soiled, right? it's dragging in something, and it's not ideal. And he takes it, you know. My wife, she does all those procedures, trims their nails and clips Cherry's feathers when needed, and no problem. She does all those procedures. But Cherry's a very beautiful bird, right guys? What do you think? Isn't he lovely? Let's try and go a little closer even. There's Cherry. He's listening. Now I'm zoomed in. If I was up that close, he would be quite nervous. But anyways, guys, that's Cherry. So give a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. And ask anything you want. We don't know everything, but we'll try to answer because we've been living with them for a long time. So we know some things. And we appreciate your nice comments. So we're going to do a couple more videos now. We're going to do one on Peach and one on Spice, because people have asked, are you going to do Spice the magpie too? I'm going to try to. He seems to be more high-strung, and I'll try to keep to film him, but might have to follow him around a bit. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one, guys.